You've probably heard me talking about this self-sufficient living skills bundle that's been going on. And I have been spending the last week flipping through so many of the incredible resources within this bundle. Now, I will say there's a lot. There's over 118 different ebooks and courses and lessons sharing incredible wisdom and knowledge with you so you can live off the land and you don't have to rely on this corrupt and broken system for everything for your family. Anyways, I wanted to share some of my favorite things. One, first off, is off-grid homeopathy. This course is loaded with so much incredible knowledge, talking about homeopathy for first aid, for colds and flu, how to make your own homeopathic remedies. Like, as an herbalist who loves to teach that stuff, that's pretty exciting to hear it in the homeopathy realm. There's also some incredible fermentation guides, so many other amazing herbal recipes and food recipes, and how to make your own sourdough bread, how to do your own organic gardening and canning of all of your foods. Really, there is so much. And yes, I know. I've talked about it a ton, but this entire bundle is only $50 right now until Sunday, March 24th. I'm sharing my herbal first aid skills, which is a course that's $47 on its own. I'm sharing recipes that I used when I got my products into REI for herbal first aid kits and so much more. You'll have to check it out. I'm serious. Like, you can absolutely change your life with this bundle. So there is a link in the show notes for you, and I hope you check it out. I hope you take advantage. Don't worry, you don't have to go through everything right away. You can access everything for up to a year. Once you're in the course or have the download, it's yours for life. It is a steal of a deal. Okay, self-sufficient living skills bundle in the links for you.
Hey guys, welcome to the Herbalist Path. Today it's all about culinary herbs, and man oh man did I get hungry writing the notes for this episode. I know we're all about to begin feasting as much as possible in the States, and there is a lot of medicine going into the food and traditional dishes that are made around this time of year. So I figured we'd catch up on some of them, learn a little history, learn a little medicinal value, and get ready to get our grub on with a huge dose of gratitude, like the gratitude I have for you and tuning into this podcast.
Welcome to the Herbalist's Path, where we're on a mission to inspire a movement where there's an herbalist in every home, again, with your host, clinical herbalist, Melissa Mutterspaugh.
Hey there, welcome to a new episode of the Herbalist Path. I am, of course, very honored and happy to have you here tuning in. And today, since we're rolling into the holidays, and in the States, we're heading into Thanksgiving, where we all feast and share our gratitude, is my favorite part about it. I figured I'd talk about some of our favorite herbs to use as we feast around the holidays. That we use in cooking, right? Because there's a whole entire medicine chest in your kitchen cabinet, I bet. And as you're making all of your stuffing and your turkey and your gravy and all of the side dishes, you are really using a heck of a lot of great herbal medicine. So I figured we could hang out and touch base on that. And I'll tell you what, boy, howdy did I start salivating and get really, really hungry as I put together the notes for this show today. So hopefully, as you tune into this, you get kind of excited for what you're going to cook. And I know that this year, a lot of us aren't able to do our traditional things. A lot of us aren't able to travel or even able to hang out with family. I'm in Oregon, and today is the 18th of November, and we are on another lockdown where all the restaurants are closed and we're not to be in groups of greater than 6 people. So I know that's really hard on a lot of people going into the holidays, myself included. I love the family time, but My hope is that you tune into this and you can find ways to get creative and really embrace this time in some way, shape, or form for yourself and what you can do for you. And hopefully you're still cooking up a storm and you're going to use some great herbs. And after today's episode, you're going to have a little bit more of an understanding of those herbs and, some of their history and why they are in your food and what good medicine they are and all kinds of fun stuff. So one of my absolute favorite dishes during these feasts and Thanksgiving and gatherings together is the stuffing. I shouldn't be eating gluten. It's really, really bad for my body. It does not agree with me, and it really shows when I do decide to eat it. But there's such a myriad of ways that you can do gluten-free stuffings too. But one of the greatest parts of the stuffing is the sage. I love sage. It's so delicious. Salvia officinalis. And sage is native all around the Mediterranean, and it's been enjoyed for over thousands of years throughout that area. In medicinal lore, it's said that sage has one of the longest histories of any herb in cooking and medicine. The Romans even considered it a sacred plant, and they would have a special ritual that they did when they went to gather their sage, whether they were using it for medicine or for culinary purposes. And I just think that's so cool that it's such a ritualistic herb. It's also a wonderful herb for its medicinal properties, like as a carminative, which means that it eases gasiness and bloating and tummy upset. It's antispasmodic, meaning that it helps ease spasms of your smooth muscle tissues. It's antimicrobial, so it can fight off bacteria and fungi quite well. It's also an astringent, so it's going to tone and tighten various pores and other tissues of the body. And it also does a pretty good job of fighting various types of inflammation. It's also said to help lower blood sugar. I think it's really great around the holidays, particularly for what it does for like gasiness and bloating and tummy upset, because I think it is very common for people to overindulge and, like me, maybe have a hard time resisting that gluten-filled stuffing that whoever made for you. It can help ease that kind of stuff. In all reality, it's really quite cool that way. One thing to know about sage is that it can stimulate the uterine muscles to contract, so it's definitely not advised during pregnancy. And if you are a nursing mama and you need more of that milk, it is known to dry up milk flow, so just use caution. If you're just using a little bit in your food, you're likely to be okay, but it's really good to note those cautionary measures. Also on that note, if you are having a small gathering or somebody in your family is like Uncle Sweaty Joe that just sweats all over the place profusely, sage can help stop excessive sweating. So, maybe it's a nice gift to ship along to your Uncle Joe if he's Sweaty Uncle Joe, we'll call him, or should it be Sweaty Uncle Steve? I don't know. Whoever sweats too much, anyways, could benefit from getting some sage on board. So another herb that's native to the Mediterranean that I love a lot for its medicinal value is thyme. And in ancient Greece, thyme was burned as an incense for sacred ceremonies, and it was a symbol of courage, fortitude, and admiration. Isn't that nice? Like, aw, there's so much love going on there. And it's got a whole wide array of medicinal properties to it. So it is carminative, meaning that it helps to ease gasiness and bloating and tummy upset. It's got a lot of antimicrobial properties, so it can help to fight off the bacteria and fungi. It's also an antispasmodic. It's an expectorant, so it can help move mucus and such. It's also an astringent, and it's really rich in antioxidants and manganese. There have been studies that have shown that thyme can help with brain function and improvement. So it helps to increase the percentage of healthy fats found in cell membranes and cell structures, particularly the amount of DHA in the brain, kidney, and heart cell membranes. They increased with the use of thyme, which is pretty cool. And it's great during cold and flu season. You can use it as a gargle for laryngitis. It's really, really nice for sluggish digestion. So if you're just kind of stuck and you're just waiting for the things to move through, thyme can be a real good helper there. And it's just great for indigestion overall. And it's yummy, right? So next up, I want to chat about oregano. Often talked a lot about its medicinal value these days. It's native to Northern Europe, but the Greeks and the Romans would use it also for its aromatic properties. So both cultures, the Greeks and the Romans, they considered it a symbol of joy and happiness. And that to me just felt so special right now, because as everybody's heading into more lockdown and the holidays, the joy and happiness level is definitely decreasing. It's hard being in the middle of a pandemic. It's really hard. And think about the older people out there that really, really need to be super hyper conscious and aware of this virus spreading around so rapidly. The joy and happiness is being sucked out of many these days, so maybe you can get yourself some oregano and see what this joy and happiness was all about that the Greeks and the Romans were so into. They had a pretty cool tradition that during weddings, the bride and groom would wear crowns of oregano, I think, to bring about more of that joy and happiness. And yeah, oregano does have tons of medicinal benefit to it. It is a great antimicrobial. It's got a lot of bitter properties to it, so that's going to get the digestive juices flowing really well. And it's super antioxidant rich. Like, there was a study done by the USDA that said oregano had the highest antioxidant level of any herb or food tested, including many of your super popular fruits and vegetables like your blueberries and such. Oregano had a higher amount of antioxidants. Freaking cool, right? It also is really helpful to break up stagnation in the digestive tract, a lot like thyme. So if you're just stuck in blah and you're just like, come on, I want things to move along, right? It's been used to treat giardia, and it's actually been shown that it can be more effective than prescriptions for giardia treatment. And it's, really beneficial in getting rid of intestinal parasites. So oregano, heck yeah. Another one that I absolutely love that has been used as medicine in ancient Greece and Rome since 500 BC is rosemary. And rosemary really started becoming popular because there was this widespread belief that it stimulated and strengthened the memory. And that is still a reason it's used today. It's actually why I use rosemary in my Where Is My Mind tea, which is all about mental clarity and focus and memory enhancement. Like, I use the rosemary one because rosemary is friggin' delicious, right? And then I'll add a little peppermint in there just because I find peppermint and rosemary combo to be delicious. And peppermint just kind of makes you a little alert, right? But in that tea, there's also gotu kola and ginkgo biloba, and it just brings a lot of circulation up to the brain. Sweet, right? It was known for memory, so much so that mourners when they're celebrating the life of somebody who has passed, they would throw rosemary into the graves of the deceased. And that was a symbol of remembrance for them. And it is definitely known that students put sprigs of rosemary in their hair to stimulate thought and memory. That's something I did on the regular, especially when I was studying clinical herbalism. I was doing that in Portland, Oregon, and I'd take walks in the middle of the day, and fortunately lots of people grow rosemary shrubberies around there, and I would just walk and walk to get the blood flowing, get my energy back up for the rest of the class, and I'd always stop by and grab a little sprig of rosemary off of somebody's shrubbery and tuck it in my ear for the remainder of class. So I really love it for that reason, but I also love it because it's also a carminative. It's a big digestive herb nerd word that means it helps with gasiness and tummy upset and bloating. It's antispasmodic, it's antimicrobial, it can increase menstrual flow for those that need it, and yes, despite popular belief, there are many.
Hey, I wanted to take a quick pause to show some love and gratitude to our sponsors of the Herbalist Path podcast, who make this show possible for me and possible for you too. So here it goes. Medicinal mushrooms are all the rage these days, if you didn't know already. And with great reason, because they are powerful medicine that can improve your health and your life in so many different ways when they're well made. Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of stuff on the market that isn't going to be so effective. And that's why you need to find a brand that you can actually trust. For me, that brand is Whole Sun Wellness, and this is the creation of a brilliant woman and fellow mama, Jamie Bonfiglio. She's an international mushroom educator that has been working in the medicinal mushroom industry for years. And this is when she saw firsthand how many other companies take shortcuts when it comes to their products. And Jamie wasn't having it. She set out to build her company the right way. Whole Sun Wellness is here to raise the industry standards so those crap mushrooms on the market aren't getting into your body or your family's body. Whole Sun Wellness is the first company to test and report nutritional facts for all of their extracts. They go beyond industry standards every step of the way, from sourcing to extraction and final testing. And as the owners of the largest medicinal mushroom farm in the United States, Whole Sun Wellness is taking control of their supply chain for the highest quality and absolute full transparency. They're even the first company to include pure mycelium extract in every single product. So when you're thinking of getting medicinal mushrooms for you and your family, Whole Sun Wellness is exactly the ones you want. Also, be sure to check out their new mycolites. These are the world's first dissolvable electrolyte tablets. They're featuring functional mushroom extracts that'll give you more energy, more stamina, and recovery as well. And who couldn't use all of that? The other thing is, they are these adorable little mushroom-shaped tablets, and they come in like a little Altoids box, but way cooler than Altoids because they're mycolites. Anyways, head to wholesunwellness.com to grab yourself some mycolites and all of the other functional medicinal mushrooms that you and your family need. And of course, you can grab that link right here in the show notes now.
Women that might want to increase the menstrual flow, and particularly beneficial for holidays 2020. It can be used for some of its antidepressant properties. And along with that, it's beneficial for stomach upset that is specifically associated with anxiety and panic or depression and really painful low moods or stresses that are brought about by family worries or relationships. So I find that to be particularly beneficial to know about right now. So, make yourself a cup of rosemary tea and maybe throw the oregano in there too. And, see if it can help. See if it can help you deal with all of, the stress that 2020 has brought us as you are preparing these mighty, mighty feasts and meals. Rosemary is also really fantastic because it just has an overall toning and calming effect on digestion. So we're going to kick it up a notch or two on this next herb, and we're going to talk about another pretty special one that happens to be native to Central and South America, though it's now cultivated all throughout the tropical regions of our world, and it's cayenne peppers. So cayenne peppers have been shown to be used in Central and South America. There's been evidence of over 7,000 years ago of its use. It's super, I think that's so cool. In the 15th and 16th centuries, cayenne peppers and other chilies made like their big global debut. And then Christopher Columbus encountered them in the Caribbean islands, and he brought them back to Europe. Then Ferdinand Magellan decided to spread the popularity of these fantastic little peppers to Africa and Asia, where they were used for both food and medicine. And I just find that really, really cool. Cayenne is absolutely rich in many, many, many medicinal benefits and really rich in vitamin C. It is a circulatory stimulant, so it's going to increase blood flow, especially out to your extremities, like your fingers and your toes. It's also carminative, it's anticatarrhal, it's a sialagogue, so it's going to promote more saliva, which can be really nice, especially if you have cotton mouth or something crazy like that. And it's got some great antimicrobial properties. It works to strengthen your heart, your arteries, your capillaries, and your nerves. It tones the entire circulatory system and your digestive system. It's specific for flatulent dyspepsia. I don't know, something about me. Today, as I was writing up these notes, I was having so much fun saying the term flatulent dyspepsia, which really, I'm just immature, and it just means gasiness and stomach upset. So it's nothing too fancy, but funny to me today. Anyways, cayenne also helps to stimulate and enhance your digestion overall. And the capsaicin in cayenne can increase your basal metabolic rate and stimulate the burning of fats for energy. It helps also to stimulate the blood flow to your mucous membranes. So that can be really, really helpful in that what it's doing is to make your congestion, like make your mucosal secretions a bit thinner and more liquid-like. So it's going to be really good if you're stuffy and congested and you just want to get it all out. That's when cayenne's going to be a nice friend. I would just do like a little honey, a little pinch of cayenne, and some lemon and some hot water, and it's going to help you out. It's also really nice now because it's so warming and yes, it's warming for your entire body. Like if you are somebody who suffers from cold fingers and cold feet and cold hands in the winter, you could really benefit from keeping some cayenne on board in your body. And yeah, cayenne. Since we're talking all spicy and hot and all these foods, let's talk about some black pepper, shall we? Black pepper is indigenous to India, but it has played a huge role as a prized spice for the entire global economy and culture since ancient times. In Greece, it was not only used as a seasoning, but it was used as actual currency. Pepper was called the king of spices as it was the center of the European spice trade during the Middle Ages. And the Italian pepper monopoly of overland trade routes, that was a huge factor in the search for an eastern sea route, as well as a huge factor in Columbus's desire to find a western route. Black pepper's pretty stinking amazing. It's also carminative. So you notice that? Like all of these herbs that we use for common cooking are carminative. They ease gasiness, bloating, and tummy upset. Fancy that, right? Anyways, black pepper is also diaphoretic, so it's going to promote a sweat if you need. It's also a diuretic, so it's going to promote the flow of urine. So it's telling me that it is very good for releasing some toxins in your body. It's also very antioxidant rich and antibacterial. It's phenomenal for various digestive disorders. It helps to stimulate your taste buds to increase your stomach acids and improve the overall digestive process there. Black pepper contains piperine, which is a component that happens to enhance and support the liver and its entire detoxification process. It is best to use fresh cracked pepper on your food. So there's a reason why you find, you go to a restaurant back in the days when we could go to restaurants and they ask you if you want fresh cracked pepper on your salad and your food, because it helps your body to uptake all of the wonderful nutrients on that plate of food. So if you can use a pepper grinder with whole peppercorns, it's really, really beneficial because that outer layer of that peppercorn has been proven to stimulate the breakdown of various fat cells. Heck yeah, go pepper, go, right? So those are just some of my favorite herbs that I like to use around the holidays and cooking. My tummy is rumbling right now and saying, feed me, Melvin, feed me. Anyways, I thought it would be fun to share some of that stuff with you and get you excited for cooking and how you can use these herbs in your foods in different ways. And yeah, tune in next week. Next week, I'm going to talk about the sweeter side of the holidays. We'll talk about some of the spices and herbs that go into all of our holiday treats. So that should be a pretty fun one too. And let me know some of your favorite herbs to use in your dishes and foods over the holidays. And let me know what you're going to do to celebrate gratitude. I can tell you right now that I am so grateful you have tuned in to this podcast episode. And if you enjoyed it, I would really be grateful even more so if you would go ahead and leave me a review on iTunes or wherever you review podcasts. I would absolutely appreciate that and be very, very thankful. So until next week, when we talk about the sweeter side of the holidays, kind of spicy too, I wish you the best. I really hope you get a little time in nature, a little time to breathe, a little time to relax and rest, and maybe bring out your creative artistic side since we're all stuck inside a bit longer. Take care of yourself so you can take care of each other. Bye, my friends.
Thanks for joining us today on the Herbalist's Path, where we're on a mission to inspire a movement where there's an herbalist in every home. Again! If you'd like to support our mission, please subscribe, rate, and review to help others find us. As a thank you, click the link in the show notes to access a delicious and power-packed elderberry syrup recipe. We'd love to see you on Facebook, too, in our new Herbalist's Path community group. Together, we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. Wishing you all a lovely day. Bye for now.
It has been so much fun and so, joyous watching all of my medicinal plant friends popping up in my garden, from the elecampane to the comfrey and the arnica. I love seeing these friends pop up. And if you are still trying to decide what to grow in your medicinal herb garden, you've got to grab my guide. It's all about the most essential herbs that every mom should know and should grow. So I teach you how to grow them and the many different ways that you can use them. If you want to grab the guide, go ahead. It's free, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get a lot of delight and use out of it. And there's a link to it in the show notes. I'm wishing you tons of happy medicine planting.